Hey guys, what's going on? It's Spherical here. We're back with Hunter x Hunter episode number 111. Now, as you can see, we have some badass lighting in the background right now. You may be asking why, Spherical? What's the purpose of that? Well, it looks cool. That's the purpose of it. I talked about it a bit in my JoJo reaction that I posted earlier today, but I actually got a LED light that I was going to use as a key light. Which, if you don't know what a key light is, it basically lights up your face so that it's a constant light. But I realized that the LED was probably a bit too harsh of a light, and that I'd rather use a box light, because that's kind of what you would normally use as a key light, is kind of like a box light kind of thing. So I decided, since I have the LED, we're going to use it for something else, and I think this looks pretty good. I have different colors for each show. So yeah, let me know what you think. I originally had it so that it was like turned up to so that it was turned up to max, but I feel like this is kind of overkill. This looks like super cool, but I feel like it's distracting when it's this bright. So I think I'm gonna have it at like a medium low. Like that. I think that looks fine. It just adds some character to the video. And yeah, it looks a little less dull now. Anyways, Hunter x Hunter, last time on. 1 minute left. 1 minute left. That's where we're at. The plan is beginning. Again, the goal: get in, separate the king from the bodyguards, and let Netero do Netero things. Again, we haven't seen him in ages, so I mean, I gotta assume he's here, or he's close by, getting ready to attack the king, because that's the whole point of the plan. If he's not here, then what's the point of drawing them away from the king, right? So, man, I'm just excited. It seems so crazy that this plan is happening. Like, what? How many, like, just a couple episodes ago, there were still like 5 or 6 days left, and then episode 108, it turned into 3 days, turned into 2 days, turned into 1 days. Episode 109, it turned into like a couple minutes, and 110, it turned into 1 minute. So maybe we're going to count down the seconds now. It's going to go 30 seconds left, 10 seconds left, 1 second left. I doubt that, but I'm ready to get into the episode. So, as always, link is at the top of the description. It'll take you to Vimeo. You can watch the reaction highlight there, and then head back here afterwards for the post-episode discussion. With that out of the way, let's get into it. All right, I think straight up, just putting everything together, this had to have been by far the best episode of the show, and I think this episode just elevated this show to a whole new level. Like, the way this episode was executed, and this was a very important point to pull off in the show, was the beginning of this final plan against the king. Very crucial moment, because again, we've been building up to it for like 20 episodes. It had to have been done right, and not only right, but they went a step further than just doing it right. This episode was so much unique things that we saw. First of all, I think my favorite part, and I'm not sure how people would like react to this when this was airing or whatever, but I really, really like the idea of the narrator just telling us what's happening. Because like, everyone picks on, like, I don't know, like Dragon Ball Z for this, where you'll have like your Piccolo of every fight just standing on the sideline and saying, ooh, this is what's happening here, and this person's attack is meant to do this to the other person. And he's just explaining everything. Like, who are you explaining it to? Just stop. Here we have the narrator. I love it. It fits. Again, it's good to have action explained to us. As much as me personally, I think the coolest anime scenes ever are really, really, really quick action scenes with no explanation whatsoever that you can look into afterwards and pick out the little things that happen here and there. But with a show like Hunter x Hunter, you need explanations, because a lot of things, there's just so many abilities, so many things that would be nearly impossible to figure out on your own without having it be explained to you. And I think the narrator is a perfect medium between having it awkwardly explained to you by a side character that doesn't need to be explaining it to anybody in the show for any reason, and on the other side, it's, you know, it's giving us this information still. So I don't know. I love the narrator in this show. I know, yeah, I know it's been kind of a meme that the narrator kind of butts in a lot, but I really like it. I think it's well done. Another big risk that they took with this episode was literally cutting away from the action to give us a backstory on Netero. Like any other show would have already gave us the backstory a while ago, right? Just to make this fight, nothing else. But the way it did it, like, it's so cool because you see these meteor things showering down on everybody. You see Netero and Zeno, you're like, okay, we still don't know what Netero can really do though, like how strong he is, other than the fact that he's very strong. We see Pitou jump in to intercept him, and we're like, okay, what's gonna happen? I genuinely have no clue. And then finally, boom, it cuts to Netero's backstory a bit, and all of a sudden, by the end of it, I'm like, oh. So you're telling me that Pitou jumping up to attack him was probably a mistake then, huh? We'll talk about Netero's backstory as a whole a little bit later in the discussion. I'm going to talk about what happened in the current events of this episode first, just so we don't get mixed up with things and get all over the place. So again, I love Pitou. Pitou's definitely two things about Pitou. First off, I do believe that she was the most dangerous aspect of this plan just because of her N. Because again, you saw it this episode, she can morph it into anything. Like, you saw that when she shot her N straight up and left everything else, you know, I don't know, just there wasn't any N anywhere else to reach as far as it could. Like, it just would have hindered their plan if Pitou would have been standing by. Like, if Pitou would have, I think their best plan would have been to have Pitou just sit in a room somewhere and cover the entire place with N. Of course, Meruem had something to say about being monitored constantly. He wasn't really a fan of that. So, I mean, in that sense, it makes sense. But strategically, if this was a perfect world for the Chimera Ants and they all got along strategy-wise, it would have been best to just have Pitou sit on her own, monitor everything with N constantly, and they wouldn't have been able to do anything, I don't think. Well, I mean, they still could have, but it would have been harder with Pitou knowing where everybody is at any given time, you know what I mean? Another thing about Pitou that we saw this episode is she's very eager to fight, more so than any of the other Chimera Ants. She, of course, devotes her life to the king. That's what the bodyguards do, but she clearly, I think she enjoys fighting the most out of the three bodyguards, by far. So, of course, she couldn't pass down the opportunity to jump right into action. Of course, again, part of it to protect the king, part of it to satisfy her own hunger for combat. She jumped right into combat with Netero, and again, I love Netero, like, his first reaction. That was the wrong move, my friend. Oh, man. So that happened. I don't know where Zeno went. Like, I almost thought that when it flashed to Zeno talking in that room that he had made it to Meruem's, like, chambers and he was talking to him in some crazy way, but I don't think that'd be possible. I don't know if that was just a flashback of him talking to somebody, or I don't know, it's some kind of weird. Like, where is Zeno now? I don't know, because I was almost wondering if in some weird way the scene with Zeno talking about Netero's past, like, I wonder if that was like in the present while this is happening. He somehow, like, it wouldn't make any sense, but maybe he cast the dragon thing and then just boom, vanished and went to go talk to somebody. I don't know. I feel like it was a flashback of him talking to somebody about Netero, but it just, I don't know. Where's Zeno? What's his part of the plan other than what's already happened? My surprise seeing Zeno again, if just seeing a Zoldyck family member show up never gets old. I love it so much. So one of my favorite parts actually was the reactions of Pitou and Poof when they realized that the assault had began. Because keep in mind, for them, as strong as they are, this was obviously an incredibly tense and anxiety-filled situation for them. Because of course, like I said, they devote their life to the king. So the second they realize there's intruders, you could see it. They were stressed. Even though they have confidence in their strength, they were stressed. Poof just went right to the king, flying right to him. Pitou, again, right into combat. Pitou got lucky that she's not, like, miles away now. She saved herself with her healing thing, whatever. And, like, it grabbed it with her tail. That was cool. Kind of, it makes sense. I was wondering if, I was kind of worried her tail might get ripped off. Can't have that, but... And then the scene at the end was so freaking good. The slow motion of everybody, like, I just talked about earlier how the narrator did a whole bunch of explaining this episode and filling us in on what's happening. The opposite happened in the ending. We're completely in the dark on what just happened in the ending, with everybody running out, Melioran's invisible, everybody's running in certain directions. How exactly do they plan to get to where they're going? We don't know. The episode ended like that. Again, I loved it. The narrator didn't jump in and say, ooh, by the way, look at how Melioran's invisible, or by the way, look at how this character is going to do this. You know what I mean? It's slow motion, and then the episode ended, leaving us waiting for next episode. Again, I love seeing the coolest shot, I think, from this episode might have been the staircase panning, like when they were running around the side of the staircase, and you could see Yuppie's face as he's slowly turning and looking, and then you can see it points downwards as Yuppie's looking down at them, moving around the staircase. It's such a cool scene. Such a cool scene. I loved it so damn much. This episode was, like, I'd venture to say, like, first of all, again, I said it, I think this overall was the best episode of the show. My personal favorite is still up in the air as to what episode I enjoyed the most. Of course, picking a favorite episode is kind of hard because you kind of just enjoy the show as a whole. But in terms of just the absolute best in episodes been, it's this one. And I'd have to say that this is probably one of the best episodes I've ever seen of anything ever. Just in terms of how well executed it was in all areas. Like, there's nothing I wish they would have done differently. There's nothing I regretted from this episode that they did. I think everything was absolutely perfect, and it just built everything up that much more. Seriously. And I think another super cool aspect, and I really, really, really love it when shows do this, is a lot of times with stuff like this, you have a big plan that's going to be enacted, or a big battle that's going to happen. And then when it happens, it just kind of skips the opening section where everybody's getting in position to fight and stuff, and it just kind of cuts to the fight itself. There's no really preparation or anything. I love that this entire episode, the fight hasn't even started yet. None of the fights have begun. The bodyguards haven't been drawn away from the king yet. I mean, Poof and Pito are kind of far, but this was still just a build-up episode. But it was and wasn't at the same time. So I don't know. I love that we're seeing all of this happen. Every single little detail, we're seeing it all unfold. I can't say enough how awesome this episode was. Like, I don't know if I got the point across, but I'm loving this arc, this episode in particular. Let's talk about Netero's backstory. So essentially what Netero did was the first we heard of his age in the flashbacks was that he was 46 years old, and he was basically training himself with 10,000 punches of gratitude daily. And that's all he did. 10,000 punches a day. It started with him taking like 18 hours, I think, to do the entire thing, and again 5 to 6 seconds per punch. And at the end of it, I think it was 2 years later, it only took him an hour. So by the time he was at that point, or I guess it would have been more than 2 years, it would have been 4 years, right? Because he was then 50 after, right? Maybe it was 2 years and then another 2 years after that something happened. I'm not sure, but anyways, eventually he was 50 years old, and he went back to his, I don't know, I guess his dojo or whatever, and he showed again. I want to know more about the backstory with like his sensei, I guess, and the rest of his pupils, I guess. There, like, we didn't really see much of that before. I'm curious, like, maybe he wasn't very strong before this training or something, and maybe he went to go out and prove himself. I'm not sure. We didn't really get his motives, I don't think. I might have to look back, but when he returned, he showed him his punch, and the master said, you know what? I still have a lot to learn. I want you to take over the school, and I want to be your student. That was so cool. That's like, it's very subtle. There's not, you know, a whole lot of like meaning to it in terms of the plot, but it just, I don't know, it kind of made a little bit of, we don't know about like that master very much, but it just made his character that much more cool. Outside of, you know, just knowing that he's a master of a dojo, which is already kind of cool, but the fact that he recognized that he's far behind what Netero is was just a cool scene in general. Again, for a person that we've really never met before. Yeah, Netero's punch has gotten to the point where it's faster than the speed of, was it the speed of sound or the speed of light? Both are very fast, and I guess you can't really react to both, so it's not too important, I don't think, but it's fast, fast enough to where I love seeing. I'm not entirely sure if, first of all, it's not really important to the plot. I'm 99% sure, but I didn't really catch on to like the whole thing that Pito could see it like, I guess it's kind of a similar concept to like how your life flashes before your eyes, where she could see Netero's movements, but she also just couldn't because they were too fast to react to. She was like, again, the narrator said it's like she was suspended in time. I don't think that should be taken literally, but maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah. Netero is just, that's just a punch, man. That's just a punch. Keep in mind, Pito was about to use an ability. It's from what we saw, it looked like it was going to be very strong that she only uses for combat. She didn't even get to use it. She just got eviscerated right away. I'm not sure if we've seen her use that ability. I can't remember what it was called. I didn't write it down, but it had a fancy name that I can't remember. I'm not sure if we've really seen, I don't think we would have seen her use it before, because we've never seen her in combat before. Again, the only example we have is Kite, but we didn't see that actually at all. I'm going all over the place now. The scene of seeing the yellow aura, it almost looked like lightning crashing down from the sky. Like when Pito, in that scene where Pito kind of looked up and the narrator was like, it was just a hunch, and you see these yellow crackles throughout the clouds going downwards. So damn cool. And again, at that point, we still didn't have confirmation that it was Netero yet, and we didn't know at all that Zeno was there, but we had an idea that it was Netero, right? But we didn't know for sure. But it's just such a cool scene. So well done. Such a freaking good episode. Like, I have a hard time believing the fight itself is going to be better than this episode. That's not to say that I don't think the fight's going to be awesome, but this episode was just, it's all I could have asked for the start of this whole event. But again, it's Hunter x Hunter. The show only gets better as it goes on from what I've seen so far. So if this is just a little sneak peek at what's in store for the next, I don't know how many episodes this is going to last, then man, I need to strap in and get ready for a wild ride, because I guess I wasn't ready. As always with this show, I thought I was ready, but I wasn't. See, the problem is, though, again, this plan is so cool and badass and everything right now, but I still think there's going to be some bad shit happening soon. It's like, you know, in any anime where the main group of characters, they're all super hyped. They're like, yeah, let's kick some ass. And they come running in all epic and badass and stuff. And then all of a sudden, all it takes is one person to die and it just starts to crumble. You know what I mean? I'm thinking of, like, I guess my best example is Attack on Titan episode 5, I think, maybe. What's another example? I can't really think of any off the top of my head, but you know what I mean? When the main group, Sword Art Online, one of the first couple episodes where Kirito has that party. I can't think of any other examples off the top of my head, but you know what I mean? The main group is all badass. They're already, they're like, yeah, let's go fuck shit up. And then one person dies and everything just falls apart. Like, and I'm saying it jokingly right now, but I'm genuinely serious. I'm worried that that's going to happen. Of course, everybody's going to be split up, so nobody's going to know if something happens to another party, but my question that we still don't know is, how does Melioran factor into this plan? We know he was going to use Knuckle. Maybe he was using his perfect plan with Knuckle. I know technically when you use it with another person, it has another name, but I can't really remember what it's called, so I'm just going to call it perfect plan. Because we didn't see Knuckle at the very end, did we? or in the very end. I'm actually gonna look back at that. Oh yeah, so, okay, I'm stupid. No, Meliorin is with Knuckle. That's what I thought. But the second we see, I was looking at this scene right here, and it looked like this was all Meliorin, but I didn't see he was, you know, holding on to Knuckle. I thought he was with Knuckle when we first saw him. I just wasn't sure. But so him and Knuckle are running up. I gotta refresh myself on the matchups again, because again, I know things have changed since, and their plans might have shifted even more than what I think. But the initial matchups were, of course, God and Kill Wapito, Knuckle Shoot, Manth, and Moronov Shaipoof. So I'm guessing Knuckle and Shoot are going to do their best, because just looking at this picture, Knuckle and Shoot are the first two running up the stairs. So I'm wondering if they're trying to intercept him right here, right now. Or I was wondering if maybe Meliorin and Knuckle were just going to make a mad dash for the king while they can. I really don't think that would be a bad plan. But again, I feel like if you were going to do that, I think Gon would have been the best option, just because his ability ends things instantly, whereas Knuckles does take time. And I think Meruem is not somebody you want to take time with, you know what I mean? But again, Gon, Killua, Moral in the background. Such a good episode. Like, I don't know how to stress that any more than I already have. I don't think I need to, but I just feel like I want to. I just need to say it over and over. I need to go scream into the world that this episode 111 was awesome. Yeah, I don't know. Like, are the next series of episodes gonna be as crazy as this one is? Because if so, this might be the best. I don't know, let's just say, I don't know how many episodes it's gonna last, but however long this lasts, this could be the best span of episodes ever that I've seen. I guess the best span of episodes that I've ever seen in an anime would come from Attack on Titan this year, season 3, part 2. But second place, I don't know what I would pick. What would be second place in my like best string of consecutive episodes from an anime? I don't even know. Because like out of my other favorite anime, like My Hero, Full Metal Alchemist, Naruto Shippuden, they don't really have any like 5-10 episode strings that are just absolute bangers, you know what I mean? So that's actually, I never really thought of it before. I don't know. All I know is Attack on Titan. It definitely has my favorite string of episodes with the entire RTS arc. Those 10 episodes. More specifically, like the first 5 episodes of season 3, part 2. Those like string of 5 episodes were just bangers back to back. But anyways, what I'm saying is Hunter x Hunter, like what's about to happen, this could be on that level of just a string of episodes. It just doesn't die down. It doesn't stop. It just fucking hits you relentlessly over and over again with crazy shit. That's what I hope for. Of course, I don't know. It depends. If these fights do drag on for quite a few episodes, there's a good chance we might have some downtime. You know, as far as I know, we don't have any. Well, I know we don't have any filler episodes left, but maybe some like I say canon filler to just draw things out a bit. I don't know if Hunter x Hunter would do that. I guess they haven't really in any fights before. And keep in mind, in Hunter x Hunter, fights don't last very long because, you know, in this show, humans are a lot more frail than in many other anime universes. It's, you know, it's kind of true to life, because if Nen existed in real life, people would die very quick, even with the ability to shred yourself with aura. You know what I mean? So it makes sense that fights in this universe don't last very long. So I don't know. I'm just speaking from the past experiences though. Like, I don't think we've ever had a fight that's lasted for more than just a single episode. I mean, maybe, I guess Naruto, I was just about to say Naruto versus Hisoka. You know what? Fuck it. That'd be cool too. Why did I say Naruto? I guess we were just talking about it earlier, not too long ago. But Gon versus Ahsoka lasted 2 episodes. And I think Gon versus Ginthru might have lasted 2 episodes as well. But I don't think beyond 2 episodes, I don't think we've had a fight last longer than that in this show before. And even then, not 2 full episodes. Maybe like an episode and a half. So anyways, I think I'm probably going to end this off here. I think I've said everything I wanted to say for this episode. Again, phenomenal episode. I could talk for ages and break things down more and more if I really wanted to. And I do want to, but I don't really have time, I guess, unfortunately. You only have so many hours in a day. So, yeah, I'll end it off here. As always, if you guys want early access and or the full-length versions of these reactions, click that link down in the description. It'll take you to patreon.com/viricalfilms, and you can check that out there. But had to take a breath there. With all of that out of the way, I do thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you guys all tomorrow with episode number 112. Until then, peace out.